Hi. So, this I think is going to be a video, it's a video on parenting. And parenting is such a funny thing, it's such a funny word, like it's so full of like heaviness and responsibility, and it's just a story we make up. And you know, there's no book, there's no expert out there that could even adequately explain your own humanity. So what I want to say is I don't know anything about anything. I'm just going to answer these from my point of view. I'm not an expert. I don't know anything. And this parenting thing, like, I'm so glad I don't believe in it anymore. And if you put all the books aside and all the advice and all, including anything I'm about to say in the next whatever 10 minutes, and you just let yourself listen to you, that's golden. Because you know. You do know. So the first one is, what I find most difficult is trying to balance school and system with a conscious, heart-centered home. And that I struggle with the extreme examples the children are set. This is two parts, I'll stop right there. This hit me so clearly in my own experience because I had the same thing with the school and just the system in general. And what I've always done is created that space within our house and told the kids, this is your sacred space. Like, this is where you can be who you are. This is where it doesn't matter what your grades are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how you act. None of that matters. You just get to be yourself here and be accepted, like 100% for who and what you are. And then it's like they invite and I invite experiences into our life that bring like this really deep love and this sense of family. So like we were wanting to plan vacations to like tropical places and to see parts of the world, and whenever we asked our kids, what do you want to do for vacation, they want to go to this little tiny village in Switzerland where these two this Italian couple, they're in their 70s, live. They only speak Italian. But my kids love it. That's where they want to go because they go there and they are cherished and they are loved and they're learning. You know, they're learning from people they don't even speak the same language from. And they're learning all kinds of really beautiful, beautiful things that I couldn't provide for them to teach them that. And we have a lot of those little pockets, like just creating those environments where love wins. And you know, I wanted to put my kids in private school and I wanted to homeschool my kids, and I did all this researching and I was running around in my head and thinking, okay, I gotta do this. And then I sat down at the table with them all and I put all the material there and I said, what do you want? And they're like, Mom, we want to stay in school. We're okay. You know, and so it's just really letting, you know, the kids, they're way smarter than me. I just make it so complicated. This being human thing is really simple. It's just, don't fight against the system, but do what's best for you. So you remain heart-centered in your home and in your environment, and every moment that you get to be with your children, make it heart-centered. Provide opportunities for them to have our heart-centered experiences with other people. Neighbors, old people's homes, just where they really can start connecting with other people outside of that system. But those are like, they're such beautiful experiences, and I'm just really thankful for those. It says also the trap of putting your own wounds onto them, onto the kids. Oh man, I know. I know. It's like really simple. It can happen so quickly that we impose our idea of what's happening to our children on them. Like, so my 4-year-old comes home one day and he's like, so-and-so hates me. And I'm like, well, how do you know? He's like, well, he said he hates me. And of course, you know, my mind and my experience goes, oh, this poor kid, and he must be devastated, and I just didn't listen. And I just asked him, I said, well, do you know what that means? He's like, I guess it means he doesn't want to play with me. I'm like, okay, and how's that? So yeah, I'm a little bit sad, but it's okay. And that was it. he didn't talk about it again. It was never a story again. He wasn't like this traumatized being that I thought he was going to be. And what I do instead, like when I notice that, is I just get really curious. I just get really curious. Like, really, like, tell me more about that. And sometimes I even say, tell me more about that, because that kind of hurt me and scared me. And I'm just wondering what your experience is, so that it's not, I don't have to throw it on them, and I can ask them. And I have gotten so many amazing nuggets of wisdom from my kids just from simply asking them. And there I was taking it personal. And it just wasn't personal. Not even on their side. They were taking it easy, and I was making a big story out of it. And also about your own wounds, or where you feel broken. Take some time, to be with yourself in that moment, and to let yourself know it's okay. The next one is how to lovingly teach children value, abundance, and money matters. Ooh, that word, money. I want to raise my son with a different abundance. Ooh, I never know how to pronounce that word. Paradigm? I hope you know what I'm talking about. Than I had or have, but find it hard to explain that he can have everything he wants, but at this moment there is no money for X or Y. Abundance. I like that word. I like that a lot. I like the experience of it. I like the way it feels. And the story of abundance in our house is kind of like, well, what do you have right now? Like, let's look at what we have right now. Let's look at all the wonderful things that we have. We have socks, and we have underwear, and in this moment right now, we have everything we need. And it's okay to, like, want, an iPad, and to want that nice t-shirt, and it's okay to, like, want those things, but let's be happy with what we have now. And then if my kids come and they want something big, I'm like, cool, how can we do that? Because right now I don't have that money, but let's see how much it is, and let's see how much we can save, and how much, me and Dad can put $5 away a month, and you can put $5 away a month, and eventually, however long it takes, we can get that thing. So it's never impossible. It's just, it may take longer to achieve having that, and then also then again to look at what do we have right now, like what's really cool that we experience now, and we enjoy a lot of things. Like, we just enjoy so much, like eating the meals that we cook together, and moving together. We do all kinds of crazy stuff, dancing and getting jiggy with it together. And we always talk about like how this is like so fulfilling and such a great thing in our life, and how lucky we are, and how there's amazing things going on in life. So, and the money matters. Just get your money matters straight. That's all that matters. Because as soon as you come into alignment with where your story is about money, they do. It's incredible. Like, they just kind of, they're this amazing mirror. I'm not sure which way the mirror goes. So it's pretty cool. I like these ones. Now we're getting down to like practical stuff. Somebody's coming in. How do you handle siblings, toddlers who fight? This is a new phase for us. Yes, I did. I had toddlers together. So I'll just like address it like fighting, because my kids aren't toddlers anymore. But what I noticed is like, okay, so what I noticed in the beginning, when I was a beginning parent and I didn't know these things, just a second, hey, Queen, come here, come here, Queen, I'm making a video.
What?
I'm making a video. Do you want to say hi? Come over here so they can see you. Yeah, say hello.
Hello.
Okay, and then sweetheart, can you be quiet for a minute so that I can finish making the video? No, you can stay in here. You don't have to go away at all, but just, can you be a little bit more quiet? No? Okay, so you're going to make noises in the background? Yeah? Okay, so can I finish making this and then you come back? Okay, so what I noticed when my kids would start to fight is that I would be like, stop fighting! Stop yelling! Stop hitting! And I'm like screaming. I'm like, that's... And then I realized, okay, wait a second, I'm just doing exactly what they're doing, because it would scare me. I thought them fighting meant something about me as a parent, or about them as a kid. They're going to grow up aggressive, they're never going to be happy, they're never going to get along, I'm a shitty parent, everybody's going to see what I'm doing wrong. And I would just make up these horrible stories, like just would go on and on and on, like into eternity. And I figured, I'm not being a very good example. And so what started happening for me was that when they would fight and I would get upset or whatever, I would pull back a little bit and then I would get really, really present. It's this coming back to this curiosity. So they would be fighting and I would just walk over and I would be really clearly present to their experience. So just, and I would, if they were small, get down at their level and just kind of be there, not say anything, just be with them and just be with them and be quiet mostly. The more I kept my mouth closed, the better. So I would just get really, really in their environment and really, like, I don't want to say in their face because it's not like that, but just so they were clear that there's somebody, I've got somebody's attention. Like, I've really got somebody's attention. And it usually quiets down and then we can have a talk about it, or we can have a separate time for a moment, or like when it got really bad, because my kids are different ages, I would be like, everybody shut up! And I would turn the timer on to 5 minutes. I said, including me! And within 3 minutes, we were giggling and we'd all forgotten what was going on because it was hilarious. We were all sitting there staring at each other being totally silent. And so just, like, involve yourself in it without being afraid of it. And if you're short, like if you're overwhelmed and you've had enough and all of that, just be gentle with yourself. Okay? It's like, it's really about slowing down and being present. I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a plan. You want to go get it? You want me to give it to you? So.
Yes, what you.
What?
No.
Okay, all right. I have a highway in front of me. Just be gentle with yourself. Like when you find yourself being at the end and just wanting it to be quiet and not wanting to fight, just take a moment to like just be with you and be gentle with you and let yourself know everything's okay and let me just slow down and let me just get present. You get present, it just stops. I don't know why that works that way. It works for me. I like this one. How to foster an ability to entertain oneself. I ignore my kids. Like, I really, you've seen this little being around here, right? They're left to do that a lot. My kids are left to just play and do their thing, and if they need me, they know where I'm at, and like they know where all the craft stuff is, and they know that they can get into it, and they know that, depends on how old your kids are, or it's like I would be there, but I wouldn't be involved. Like, I know that that's not the kind of mom that I am. I'm not the crafting mom, I'm not the baking mom, and this is not true, because I do those things, but it's just, I'm kind of like, here's your stuff, and you figure it out. And they're awesome. All my kids are really good at being by themselves, and playing together too, really, but really, like, they all, if they're home sick, or they're home alone when the other kids aren't here, they all play like what you hear right now, and it's really, I just kind of ignore them. Like, I just let them do their own thing, and here I am, and I'm totally present, but, playing on their own. And I don't know, that's just kind of what's worked for me. Sometimes I left them alone out of complete overwhelm, and now it's just what I feel like it's the right thing to do for me and for them. And I'm always going over checking, how you guys doing? Oh, what are you playing? And oh, that sounds really cool. I get into what they're doing, but I don't animate them. They animate themselves. So that's it. And the last one said, maybe parenting the child and the inner child, are they one and the same? Quinn, can you stop that? I know, it's so hard. It's so hard to be quiet. Oh, I'm almost finished, sweetheart. And that's I know this is getting really long, but this is my favorite thing. It's like when you become the parent to yourself that you think you always wanted, that you think you want to be to your children, things shift. And for me, that was doing a lot of inner work to stop blaming my parents for anything. No blame, no guilt, just like this full acceptance of us all as human beings, because this human being thing, we all know how to do that. We may have forgotten, we may think that we don't, but we all know how to be a human being, which is, take care of each other, love each other, be nice, accept each other even when we're being turds, just letting each other be who we are. Kids are great at that. They don't expect you to be anything but what you are, and they don't expect themselves to be anything but what they are. So my parenting drastically changed when I let my parents off the hook. And then I let my parents off the hook, and then I let myself as a parent off the hook, and then I let my kids off the hook, and I stopped parenting. And I admitted, I don't know what I am doing, and I may never know, and it's okay. And I tell my kids that too. I don't know what I'm doing. What do you think? You know, they're having trouble, and I'm like, I either will give them an example of what I think I would do if I was them, or I'm honest and I tell them, I don't know. I don't know what to do. You know, and I leave the decision making for my children to them. And they make much wiser decisions than I could ever even imagined. Like options I didn't even think about. And my job is to simply allow them to make their own decisions. And if something happens, if something comes and it derails them, or they've gone the wrong direction, if it's as if that's even possible, that's what I'm here for. Support them, to pick them up and say, it's okay, let's keep going, like, let's do this. I'm here to love them and support them, and they are here to lead and guide their own lives. Their own lives, and they've taught me so much. It's just that opening up and not having such big expectations of either yourself, your parents, or your children, and just letting the whole idea of parenting go. Your kids are not less human beings than you. You are not a less human being than your parent. We're all equal. And just doing the best you can to treat everybody that way. Yeah. Thank you. If you've stuck around this long, this has been a long video. Thank you.